A scale representation in Autocad 2010 is basically an object at a specific annotation scale. So for example here you can see the 825 dimension there, and that's at a specific annotation scale. Probably, judging by the size of it there, I would say a 1 to 50 annotation scale. Now you'll notice on the status bar at the bottom of the screen we're currently at an annotation scale of 1 to 30. Now the reason I've set it to 1 to 30 is I'm going to dimension the main doorway here of the house, and that's going to show in a 1 to 30 viewport on the layout tab here. So if I go to the layout, the dimensions are going to show in this 1 to 30 viewport here. However, we also need them to show on the main plan at 1 to 50 here as well. So it's going to need two annotation scales, each one of them being a scale representation of that dimension. So let's put a dimension in the model space. Let's just make sure we're on the right layer. There we go. We're on the annotative dimensions layer. I'm going to place a linear dimension. Notice annotation panel there on the home tab. So I'm going to go to this linear dimension here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to place from endpoint to endpoint, just there like that, and drop in that dimension there, which is 2000 millimeters. Now you'll notice, look, that one there, the text is bigger, the ticks are bigger. That's because it's a scale representation at 1 to 30, as per the annotation scale on the status bar. So what we need to do now, we need to make sure that this has a scale representation for each annotative scale. So what I do is I click on the object, I then right click and go to properties. Now I don't need to do that, remember, because if it's an annotative object I should be able to go annotative object scale. Now why can't I do that? What is going on there? Let's just check this object out. Let's have a look. Let's go to properties. Is it on a dimension style that is annotative? No, it's not. It's on the wrong dim style. So it's actually got no scale representation at all. So we need to change the dim style. Let's do that first. So I go there, click on the down arrow, there's dim's model. That's the one I need. Notice the annotative symbol there. So I put it on dim's model straight away. Notice the size changes automatically. Now, it's now annotative. We need to check the scales. So let's do that. So I click here, click on the button here. What scales have I got? I've only got 1 to 30. So if I OK that now, and what I will do as well is close the properties palette and go back to my A1 landscape tab here. Look, the dimension is showing in the 1 to 30 viewport here as a scale representation of that dimension. But there's nothing here in the 1 to 50 viewport. So I need to add that. So I go back to the model tab here and I need to change the scale representation of this dimension. So I select it. The good thing is if I hover over it, again, there's the blue symbol. Now the check here is, look, it's only got one blue symbol. So it's only got one annotation scale associated with it. I click on it, I right click now, and what I need to do is go annotative object scale, and I need to go add delete scales. I've only got 1 to 30, so I click on add. I add another scale representation now of 1 to 50, and I OK it. I've now got both. So I click on OK, and that job is now done. If I now go to the A1 landscape tab, you'll see I've got a scale representation here of that dimension. There it is there, the 2000 dimension. If I just zoom out and pan across, I've also got it here in the 1 to 30 viewport as well. But you'll notice, look, all the text on the dimensions is consistent. It all looks the same because I've got different scale representations in different viewports. So there's my 1 to 50 scale representation. And if I pan across, there's my 1 to 30 scale representation. So scale representations are purely a way of defining objects in different viewports. So when I go to my model tab again, the dimension is always there in the model tab, but it's represented as different objects in different scales in different viewports, purely by applying an annotative scale to that particular object.